Before showing the complete annihilation of the Road Warriors by the Skyscrapers during the Clash of Champions 10, February 1990, as you see here from Corpus Christi, Texas. Once again, Clash of Champions 10. First off, let's take a look at the very first incarnation of the Skyscrapers. And here they are, Dan Spivey, Sid Vicious, managed by Teddy Long. And here is their debut match, the introduction of the Skyscrapers. Dan Spivey still looks like the WWF Golden Boy Dan Spivey, and Sid Vicious. This is June 1989 as they make their debut. And the second incarnation, and this is all due to what happened here during Clash of Champions 9 in Troy, New York, where they faced the Steiner brothers. And something happened during this match with the Steiners and Sid Vicious. Basically, Sid Vicious punctures his lung somewhere along the line during this match. And here you see Scott Steiner putting the boot to Sid Vicious. And a very important aspect here to point out, look at Sid Vicious. This is very relevant. Holding on with his left arm, putting it on his right side. Something's going on here. And definitely, I believe this is what created this injury to the punctured lung of Sid Vicious, where basically he was out until 1990. But here he is in the hospital room looking at x-rays. And Sid Vicious, at this time, he lost a tremendous amount of weight. And Sid Vicious was not seen on NWA/WCW TV until he debuted May 1990, as you see here, joining the Four Horsemen. And here you see Sid Vicious as a horseman, May 1990, with Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, and Ole Anderson as their manager. And that brings us back to Dan Spivey and Mean Mark Callis as the new Skyscrapers, with Sid Vicious out due to the injury. And we know what took place, going back specifically with Dan Spivey as the original Skyscrapers, as you see here. I have this video on my channel with Mike Blackwell and Avalanche. And we all know what happened with Mike Blackwell refusing to job, basically refusing to sell during this match. And I have this video on my channel. You can look at the whole entire video on my channel. And that gets back to the second incarnation of the Skyscrapers. Again, Dan Spivey, Mean Mark Callis, later known as The Undertaker, replacing the injured, once again, Sid Vicious, which leads to this live match from, again, Corpus Christi, Texas. And let's take a look here. Dan Spivey had enough of the Road Warriors not selling, just like Mike Blackwell, and not cooperating during matches. And Dan Spivey took it upon himself to teach the Road Warriors a lesson. Let's take a look at what happened back in February 1990.
Ellering has room, but they have that chair. That chair. Oh my God, he's back ahead. He's bending the chair. Road Warriors out.
And we never seen at that period of time the Road Warriors being manhandled, as we see here once again. Dan Spivey really putting the chair, hitting the arm of Road Warrior Hawk, and just completely decimated the Road Warriors on live TV. And just a little bit more of the same. And again, the Road Warriors, they never looked the same in the eyes of many after this. And 6 months later, they were gone. They were in the WWF. Dan Spivey himself, he left the NWA WCW right after this, or shortly thereafter, I should say, due to a contract dispute. But again, you don't mess with Dan Spivey. Just like I showed previously in this clip with Mike Blackwell refusing to sell for the Skyscrapers. And basically this was the end of Mike Blackwell, as we see here. As even he gets pinned by Spivey, he tries to kick out there. But nonetheless, that gets into, once again, the end of the original Skyscrapers, the end of the second incarnation, And then you had the third incarnation, as you see here. And this is from Wrestle War 90 with Mean Mark Callis, later known as The Undertaker, Teddy Long. And you had Mike Enos of the AWA, due to Dan Spivey abruptly leaving NWA WCW for Japan. And as you see here, Mike Enos, just to fill in, this is a third incarnation. Then what happened later on, as time went on, you had the reformation of the original Skyscrapers for a one night only at the Starrcade 1990, as you see here, December 16th, 1990 to be exact, as they faced the Big Cat and also the Motor City Madman. And after that, that was the disbanding of the Skyscrapers.